delighted to say Eddie Dunbar is with us. Unfortunately, Eddie, you're not preparing for today's stage. You're out of the Tour de France. Whereabouts in the world are you at the moment?
Yeah, back in Monaco now. So back a few weeks earlier than I expected, unfortunately. But yeah, as I said, I'm too used to probably being in this position now. Had a few crashes, so yeah, it's just frustrating as well, you know.
How is the wrist?
Yes, not too bad. Doesn't feel great, being honest. I've had a few scans, so I just sent them away to a specialist yesterday, and just waiting to see what kind of damage is done. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious, but yeah, we'll see what the scans say. Hopefully, it's nothing to do with surgery or anything. It's just like a couple of weeks where I might just have to take easy and maybe stay in the indoor trainer, which I've done in the past. But yeah, just disappointing, you know. Especially after that stage, my hand just swelled up. It was like a balloon. Tried to start the next day, and just impossible to hold the handlebars. Just wasn't safe, and it wouldn't have been safe for anyone else in the peloton.
The original X-ray didn't show a fracture, is that right?
No, but it rarely does in a hand injury, just because the swelling is so big. It's just like it happens a lot in cycling that yeah, you get an X-ray after the stage. They have like an X-ray machine after the finish line that you can go and get a quick X-ray, but that's just more so like if there's a proper complete fracture, it'll show something. But in something like the hand where there's so many bones, it wouldn't show up in an X-ray. No, you need a CT scan or an MRI scan to see that.
Are you totally sickened and like to the point where you can't actually watch anything that's going on at the moment? Or are you like, okay, this is just, I have to get on with this and take it, and you're able to tune in and watch what's happening?
I was disappointed, obviously, when I initially had to pull out, because I wrote to sign in that day, and yeah, like I was ready to race or whatever. And when you pull out then and you make a decision with the doctor and the physio, that's the difficult part, you know, because I could still ride the bike. I just physically probably couldn't race, you know. I wouldn't have been able to brake properly. So that was difficult. And it's only kind of settled in, I'd say, yesterday. Just the disappointment started to settle in because you're traveling home, you're trying to get home. Then you're obviously chatting to lots of people. You're going for scans. You're talking to friends and family. So it doesn't really hit. It takes a few days, and yeah, watching that stage the other day was obviously great to see Ben take the yellow jersey, and you just look at it and you see, right, a lot of those guys that were there that day fighting for the stage win were the guys that I was with 2 days before racing for the stage win, which is it's difficult to take.
Yeah, like maybe if it hadn't been going great for you, you know, if it had been an okay, but actually you were doing brilliantly.
Yeah, I felt really good, but I knew beforehand my condition was really good going into it. Obviously, it's the Tour de France. You want to be at your best going into a race like that. It's a massive event. I'd never done it before. You always hear about how it's so stressful. It's bigger than like the Giro or the Vuelta. And I was always curious to see what that was like. And when you actually get to the race, it's incredible. You know, the spectators that are there, just the amount of media that's there. It's just bigger, you know. It's just an amplified Giro or Vuelta, and yeah, it was great to get to experience that bit. But yeah, with the condition I had and the expectations I had, for sure, yeah, it's disappointing to be sat here and not getting up there in Toulouse, you know.
Well, you did put the crash up on your Instagram. Do you want to talk us through what's going on here? This is these are pretty horrific scenes. It's like a snuff movie, I presume, for you. What's happening?
Yeah, so
that's you at the back there.
Yeah, it's funny, not funny, but I went to the back deliberately there, just basically to stay out of trouble. Sorry, I'll wait till the video finishes.
No, you're grand. You can talk over it. It's okay because
sorry,
it sounds low enough. Yeah.
But yeah, I went to the back deliberately there just to stay out of trouble. It was getting a bit sketchy, as we say. People were fighting for position, but I knew there was a big, massive, wide road coming up, so there's only 20, 25 of us in the group anyway. And yeah, I thought I was being safe, went to the back, and 200 metres later, found myself on the deck. I seen the crash happen in front of me, so I braked, and I thought I did the right thing because I think we were doing 75k an hour, I think.
That's mad. It's mad speed, isn't it?
It's stupid, basically, but there's nothing you can do. But yeah, I tried to. I did react well, but I went the wrong side of the bike, and my bike locked up, you know, and especially with disc brakes and stuff, once you hit your brakes that hard at that speed, you're going to hit the deck either way. You're just hoping it's not going to be too bad. But if I didn't brake like that, I would have gone straight into that pile up of 5 or 6 guys there, and I'd say I would have ended up 50 or 100 meters down the road. But yeah, as I said, I actually didn't watch the crash for like 2 days. After I know the team put it up or whatever, and I shared it, but I didn't watch it. Everyone's like, "Did you watch it?" I said, "No, I don't want to watch it yet." But yeah, I've watched it a few times now, and yeah, you're in a situation there where there's probably not much you can do. There's probably very few bike riders that could have got out that situation, and I probably certainly wouldn't be one of them able to do that.
Can I ask you a question about that? Why did you watch it again?
You just have to accept it. You know, I can't change it. That's what happened, and it's the reason I'm sitting here. So it's yeah, I think it'd be more like I've had crashes in the past where I've hit my head and I've suffered concussions. I think a few people know about that. And being honest, I was happy I didn't hit my head there, and that was probably the biggest thing. Is in like crashes, you're going to see crashes again. You know, like you see them. I saw them every day in the Tour, and just the fact, yeah, I was in it. It was more so for my head. Did I do the right thing? Could I have done something different?
So you can learn from
just to replay that.
You can learn
from it a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have had ones in the past where I just would watch. You know.
What's your immediate feeling when you go down? Because Ben Healy actually went down the same crash, but he was kind of straight back up on the bike. Obviously, he wasn't as hurt as you were. What's your kind of immediate thought? Because you don't really go for the bike; you kind of go straight to the side of the road, and you're kind of limbering around, going, "Yeah, I'm not well here."
Yeah, my wrist just felt like a bit limp. It didn't feel right. Actually, when I got up first, I was in like excruciating pain, you know. And I looked down, and my thumb looked like it didn't look great, and there was a bit of the bone didn't look right. So I actually pressed on that, and it kind of popped back in, and that hurt. But after that, there was actually immediate relief. But my hand was just swollen straight away. And I just knew I wasn't feeling right. And then when you hit the deck at that speed as well, it's just like you just don't feel great anyway. You know, your whole body shook. I was cut up. I have a good few cuts and grazes as well. And it just takes a while. For me anyway, it takes a while to process just what just happened, because you're on the floor within a second or two, and then all of a sudden you're looking for your bike, and my bike was in 2 pieces. The saddle was off it, so I was just there waiting on the side of the road actually for the team car to get up so I could get a spare bike and finish the race. But I knew pretty quick that the chances of starting the next day were going to be fairly slim with the way my hand was, because as I said, it was like a balloon within 5 minutes.
And that's the other thing, is you have to finish the stage as well if you want to keep going. There's no option there for you.
Yeah, because it was only 5k to the finish as well, but like there was one of the guys in that crash, actually he broke his collarbone and suffered a concussion. I think Jack Hagan, he couldn't finish, you know, and he was only 5k from finish. But yeah, I was always going to finish, no matter what happened. I was obviously in a bit of pain, and yeah, got back on the bike, and actually Geraint Thomas waited for me as well. He was just after being in the break all day, and he seen I was in a bit of discomfort, so he waited with me and rolled into the finish with me. So I appreciated that. But yeah, it's just, as I said, it's the Tour de France. You go through that extra bit of pain if you have to, you know.
Do you have less fear than the average cyclist? In other words, are you accepting of the probability that you will crash again?
I think, if I'm being very honest, I probably have more fear than most cyclists now, because of the injuries I've had and the crashes I've had. Because anytime I crash, it seems to be a big crash and something happens to me, you know. So like any of the last few crashes I can think of, it's kind of forced me to pull out of the race, and that's frustrating. And I think I see a race differently to most people in terms of a safety issue or from a fear point of view, because like I keep saying, you hit the deck at 60, 70k an hour, it changes the way you think, you know, and you don't want to be hurt, no matter what the reward is. Now, having said that, again, the Tour de France is the biggest bike race in the world. A lot of guys will take massive risks to do well there in terms of positioning themselves in a bunch and not braking in the sprint finish maybe, or going down a descent that extra bit faster, because maybe the the reward outweighs the risk for some guys, you know. And I can understand that in a race like the Tour, but for me, for sure, I think maybe more than the average person, I'd see less fear. But for sure now, in terms of cycling, I probably see a lot more fear than most of my competitors, which is probably maybe not a good thing sometimes.
How's your head now, a few days removed, and considering also in that question what's happened with Ben Healy this week? Is it a mix of emotions from your perspective?
Yeah, massively. As I said at the start, it was great to see Ben take the jersey the other day. Anyone who takes the yellow jersey in the Tour de France deserves credit, especially when it happened. It's been happened so rare over the last few years. You know, it's either been Jonas or Tadej really in the yellow. So to take that, and he'll probably hold on to it for a few days. It's great. Delighted for him, and he obviously got a stage win as well. But it's when you see the guys that. I think there was 4 or 5 of the guys that were in that strong breakaway that were going to go to the finish. They were all in the move I was in a few days before when Ben won, and I had that stage flagged to be in the breakaway. So I'd like to think I would have been there. Hindsight's a great thing, but I definitely had the condition to be there, and the preparation that I'd done, would have allowed me to be there, you could say. Bittersweet.
Is that a difficult watch?
Yeah. And I don't know why. Like, I got home and I was like, right, a few people were telling me to turn off my phone and go away on holiday and chill out for a while. But for some reason, you just get drawn into watching it. And it hurts. It hurts, you know. I said, you're delighted for everyone, as in, like, anyone who wins a stage of the Tour or anything, or even seeing Yates win that stage of the Tour the other day was great. You know, he's my teammate last year. He just won the Giro. But it's just like when you've been there and with them, and you've experienced like being up the road with them, and you're kind of like, I'm kind of on a similar level here. That's hard to take. I'm not saying I would have won the stage or anything like that, but I think I could have given myself a great opportunity to go for a stage win in the Tour de France, and I think that's the hardest bit to take.
Have you been in touch with Ben since Tuesday?
Not since Tuesday, but we were chatting before that. After his stage win, he finished so far ahead on the stage win. I didn't get to see him after the finish, but I was texting him after, and he sent me a message after the crash. All right, and I just wished him luck for that stage that he won. Actually, at the stage that he took the jersey, I actually had him predicted that he'd win that stage, which I said to him. But I think he got a nice surprise in the end by taking the yellow. So fair play to him.
It was quite the ride, wasn't it? Where like everybody else is desperately trying to slow him down and jockey for the stage win, and he's like, actually, I see the prize on offer here.
Yeah, it's massive. He went to the front there, and like that last 40k, he just did in his own. And someone like Ben, he has the ability to do that. He's actually not the biggest of guys either, but when it comes to preparing and like targeting a stage in a race, he's one of the best in the world at doing that. I think in most stage races he's taken part in, he's won a stage, you know. But the preparation he puts into it is incredible in terms of, I seen he did an article after that stage where he had like a wax chain, he had a TT skin suit on, he had his aero helmet, they had like this massive fueling plan. It was, they're all massive things that if you're in a breakaway for 200k and stuff, or in the stage where he took the yellow, they add up massively in this day and age in terms of aerodynamics and stuff. So it's just there's not many people in the peloton that are dialed in that way in terms of science and aerodynamics, and it really pays off for him.
What can you do when you're injured like this, when you have to take time away, when you're forced to? So can you continue training in a way that doesn't affect the injured area? Is it more time to think about where you are and how you can develop? Do you reset your goals? How does a week like this work for you?
I guess you think you can do everything, you know. Like as in, we were thinking to head away for a few days just to chill out, switch off. But you get home then, and sometimes all you want to do is nothing. It's a bit of you get yourself into a little bit of a rush. But as I said, I've been in the situation before. I kind of know what to expect and how to handle it and how the days go. But yeah, I just switch off and just want to get these results of the scan as quickly as possible to see, right, what do I need to do? That's the biggest thing. And once you know what that is, then at least you can plan, right, I need to keep it in a cast for 2 weeks. I need to go get physio on it once a day, or I set the turbo up from Monday next week and start getting ready for the Vuelta, so then you can properly plan. But hopefully I should have a bit more information today, and chill out for the weekend. Just try properly switch off from cycling, try not to put the tour on, and just get ready for the Vuelta then, I think.
It is an interesting choice to make in a situation like that, where you think, well, will I just go what I naturally feel, which is to chill out and do nothing in particular, or do I have to fight against it? But maybe your body is correct in your instinct to do nothing for now.
Yeah, because again, like, your body probably just needs to recover as well. Like, I still did 7 days of probably one of the hardest weeks of racing I did, so it needs to recover after that anyway. But it's just more so the thought of doing something. That's what puts you back. Because you get home and then you sit down on the couch and I know you just start scrolling on your phone or stuff like that. You get into a rut. You're like, all right, I'll just sit here for a while before you know the day is gone. And you're it's days like that when you actually get back on the bike and you go to a race and you're like, look, I should have made a bit more that day. What was I doing there, just sitting on the couch? As I said, hopefully today we get a bit more information, and myself and Neve can head away.
That's the most relatable thing. That we've all wasted days scrolling on the couch.
Doom scrolling does not discriminate against anyone,
no,
professional athlete or otherwise. Doom scrolling gets everyone.
Yeah, that's it. But as I said, there's probably a bit too much of that goes on anyway over the last few days. But
delete Instagram and TikTok. You'll be grand after that. There's nothing else out there.
Exactly. Yeah. If you can get to that point, you're doing well. That's for sure.
Can you distract yourself with the hurling? Are you a hurling fan?
I've been following it this year, especially obviously because Cork have been doing quite well. So I watched the last match they played, and that match against Limerick in the Munster final as well. I switched that on. I was at a race, but I'll definitely have that on over the tour anyway on Sunday, just to switch off my mind a bit. But they're looking good this year, so hopefully they can pull it off on Sunday.
You've had loads of success at the Vuelta, and it's not until, I think I was just checking the dates there, it's August, so there's actually plenty of time for you to recover. Is that far enough away and hopeful enough that you can begin to plot some of that and start visualising being on the starting line for the Vuelta?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's about 6 weeks. So I think, worst case scenario, I might have to train on the turbo for a while, but I think in 6 weeks' time, his hand will definitely be healed, I'll put a plan together with my coach and have a chat with the team, and it'll literally be like anyone who does the tour. If they crash out, the Vuelta's always a good backup. It's not the Tour de France, but as I said, it's a race I done well in last year, and it's still a grand tour, and it's always great to go there and perform. And if I can have any bit of a repeat of last year, that'd be nice to build the confidence, and just good for the head as well, I think.
Talking about the scale of the Tour de France there, was it surprising even for you, who has been around this now for such a long period of time? Like, you're very experienced and you do know exactly what it takes to prepare to get to the level to make the team for the tour and to compete in the tour and to make those breakaways in the leading group and a stage of the tour. But when you got there for the first few days, were you still kind of going, oh Jesus, this is even bigger than I thought?
It was the day before for the team presentation, with the crowds that were there, because like the team presentations I've done in other races or in other grand tours, there's been a lot of people there, but there was nothing on this scale. It was incredible, it was like being it almost felt like you're at a concert or something, at a gig, and it was just packed out, sold out stadium somewhere in the world. And then the day after the first stage in Lille, the crowds were incredible, but not just at the start, but like on the roadside, the whole way around the 180k, it was just full of people. And it's funny, like, 'cause normally in a race, it's a lot of guys obviously you stop for a piss at some point, but there was a lot of points you couldn't even stop. There were that many people, and like the thing is, obviously, if you stop in front of people and go for a piss, or whatever, you get a fine or what thing. But it was that busy, you couldn't in 180k. So like that's a lot of road where the crowds are packed, and you have that and again, that wasn't just one day. That was the whole tour, really.
So apart from not being able to have a piss, does it also make your race faster? Does it, like, is there an adrenaline aspect that you kind of are slightly unaware of until you're like, oh, hang on, our watts are higher than I expected them to be?
Yeah, because it's almost like you're in a funnel constantly. Like any road you go on, if the crowds are deep, like even small things, like if whichever way the wind is blowing, if it's a crosswind or if it's like a headwind, it's all sheltered, so you just automatically go faster. It is probably a little bit more dangerous with the fact that, like, normally in a race to move up, you have to go up the left hand side or the right hand side. Not many guys can go up the middle of the peloton, but that was even a sketchy bit because you had to be really mentally more switched on than normal because of that, because you didn't know how far the crowd was going out, whether it was a main road where the crowds were bigger or a smaller road, or people, like when you throw a bottle, stuff like that, but are they going to run out onto the road there to pick up the bottle or a musette? So there's things like that, and it's great to see the amount of people out supporting the race. It's great, but it's a lot of people.
Just one last thing. The lads were talking to Nico Roach yesterday, and he was saying things have changed even in the decade or so that he's gone. He used the phrase eating was cheating when he was riding, and now there's like a carbohydrate intake of a set number of grams. I think it was 111, he said. That level of science and the change in nutrition and things like that, is that something that you have found you can also embrace to try and help you improve as a rider over the last few years? Have you noticed that change since you came in?
Massively actually, but more so in the last kind of 2 years. For sure, Nico would have seen a big change in it. But you have, like, normally when I first started, it was like the aim was 60 grams of carbs an hour. That was the normal, and that was quite a lot. Now you've guys taking 120 grams of carbs an hour in a bike race, up to 140 on a harder, hillier mountain stage, which, like, that's an incredible amount of carbohydrate to be eating. A lot of it's in probably sugar form and stuff like that, which probably isn't great. But even after a race, you're like, for instance, for me, it's like I have anywhere between 250, 300 grams of carbs after. Then 2 hours later, you're at dinner where you could be having anywhere between 350 and 400 grams of carbs. Versus that never was the case when I first started. You go home and you just have a plate of pasta and you wouldn't weigh it or anything. But you see guys weighing their food and stuff now, but it's more so that they're eating enough rather than that they're eating to make sure they're not eating too little. Versus before, in the past, guys were weighing their food to be like,
skinny.
To be skinny, Whereas now it's different. But that's the, as I said, when you've a lot younger guys coming through now, I mean, the average age of the peloton has definitely gone down. And like when I was younger, like I just go training, I might even bring food with me, whereas now you've young guys who have access to all this data. That's like, right, if you have 120 grams an hour, you're going to be straight into the World Tour peloton and you're going to be competing against the best guys. They have access to all that data that none of us had, but it's incredible. But I think most sports are kind of in that way anyway. People are realizing, right, you actually have to fuel your body to be able to do stuff. You can't just go and have an apple and you're going to be fine. You have to be ready. You have to be strong. And as I said, that's a massive change in the sport over the last few years. And equipment as well. Equipment has gone absolutely so fast as well. It's almost like Formula One in terms of aerodynamics and tire pressures, tire widths, handlebar widths, gearing. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Are you taking literal sugar cubes? Is that how you're getting those during the race?
Yeah, it's like you have gels that have like sodium in them, caffeine. There's fructose, glucose gels, iso gels. But there's even things now that a lot of teams have. It's they're called energy chews, which is literally, like you said, it's almost like must be the easiest way to describe it. yeah,
The chew it
it's
sweets.
almost like that, just like a more it's more gelatin, it's just like a chew and 45 grams of carbs in it, and you eat it and it's just like, yeah, stuck to your teeth. It doesn't feel great for you at all, it probably isn't, but it gives you energy when you need it. That's the thing.
How do you
Fast
feel?
energy.
Sorry, Eddie. How do you feel at this point in your career now? Because I believe you're 28 now. You're off the back of a really, really impressive Vuelta last year. You had a really strong Dauphiné just before the Tour de France. It's obviously quite frustrating to crash so early in this tour, but up till that point, you were very impressive. Even on the day that you crashed, you were in the front group. How do you feel now going into, say, like the next Vuelta? Do you feel strong enough to put a dent into that? I know with this tour specifically, you're mainly there to support Ben O'Connor, but last year you were very much in contention for GC up to a point. How do you feel going into the Vuelta? Do you think that you're entering that phase of your career where you're very much an established rider in the peloton?
Yeah, I think the main takeaway I have from getting to the tour in the shape that I did was, right, I have a great template now of how to get into that condition. I had a pretty uninterrupted kind of 2 or 3 months in terms of training and racing, and once I got to the Dauphiné, I knew I was really good, performed well. And then after that, I went up to altitude and did some work up there with heat training as well, which I suffered with in Dauphiné, and that definitely paid off in the tour. So I think in terms of that, I have a great template of, right, if I can get myself 4 weeks now before the Vuelta and do this preparation, I can go into the Vuelta in pretty similar shape and definitely be competitive, because I was last year with a bit less preparation. So as I said, if I can just get a clean run into the Vuelta and stay upright, I'm confident I can go there and do well, basically.
Do you see yourself as a team leader?
Yeah, I still think there's an element of it there that I want to be a team leader, definitely in certain races. But then, as I said, you see it again in something like the Tour. You always think, say, right, I'm probably better off winning a stage of the Tour than finishing 8 on GC.
Yeah.
It's just like it does more for your career, I feel now. Especially with you have 5 guys that are so dominant on the GC. Whenever they're in a race, it's very difficult even to ride for a podium now, and I felt it last year in the Vuelta by winning them stages, how that just changes your life a little bit and just change your perspective on cycling, right? You don't have to just do 3 weeks of slogging away for GC, and you, as I said, you get 7 or 8 out of it, which is a fantastic result, don't get me wrong, in a Grand Tour, but just that feeling of winning and getting to do that in a Grand Tour is it's an incredible feeling. So I think I think if I could just pick and choose, ride GC in some races, because I still feel like there's a little bit of untapped potential there in terms of GC, and just maybe then in some of the races that I go to in the Grand Tour, just have a look at stages.
Do you think Ben Healy would have had more joy in that single second that he crosses the line winning the stage than he actually got when he realised he was getting into yellow? That point you're making there about the actual winning of something.
Oh, he definitely got more of I'd say there was obviously just less suspense. I think he won the stage of the Tour that, like, as I said, I can only imagine what that feels like, and you can see in his face and you can see in his team's reactions how incredible that was. And then obviously the Tour, he was just waiting. I'd say he was just praying that Tadej or Jonas wasn't going to accelerate in that last 30 seconds. But you can see in his face the delight then. But as I said, that's a nice moment he has. He has that now forever. He has plenty of recordings of that, and he worked hard for it. And in the end he got it quite comfortably. And I'd say he's going to enjoy every minute of today in the yellow jersey, and I'd imagine he's going to hold on to that today. Probably tomorrow as well, if he has the same legs he had yesterday. So fair play to him, enjoy it.
Eddie, best of luck with the recovery. Thanks a million for joining us. That was great.
Cheers, thanks a lot, lads.
Always great to chat to you. That's Eddie Dunbar there, telling us exactly what it's like to crash at 70 kilometres an hour.
Scary stuff, really.
It's so hardcore. It is so hardcore. I mean, you were 100% correct. They are the hardest working athletes.
I think so, yeah.
It's not even close.
No.